In 2018, we took back the House with a record-breaking blue wave. We won tight races, flooded Congress with a bold new class of Democrats, and put a definitive check on the Trump agenda. We won because of an unprecedented surge of grassroots activism and an innovative strategy that allowed you to maximize your impact in your closest swing district. But conservatives still have power in the White House, Senate, and in state houses around the country. So for 2019 and 2020, we're going even bigger. If we play our cards right, we can not only beat Trump and the GOP, but also set up a decade of progressive victories. We have the opportunity to not only win back the White House, but also the U.S. Senate and the state houses necessary to undo some of the worst Republican gerrymanders. Swing Left will continue to work in U.S. House elections, but winning these other races will help put our country back on the right track. We're going to win the popular vote, again, in 2020. But to take back the White House, we need to win presidential swing states and their electoral college votes, too. If we flip these 6 presidential swing states that Clinton narrowly lost, we'll clinch the presidency. Now, the U.S. Senate is currently controlled by Republicans 53-47. If we can flip 4 Republican seats while not losing any Democratic ones, we'll take back the Senate. And if a Democratic vice president is elected in 2020, then we only really need 3 to gain the majority. We think the seats in North Carolina, Maine, Colorado, and Arizona are the most winnable. Let's talk about taking back state houses. In 2010, the GOP elected governors and state legislators who redrew district maps to unfairly favor electing more Republicans, both in the state houses and in the U.S. House of Representatives. In 2020, we have a once-in-a-decade opportunity to undo this extreme partisan gerrymandering. If we flip the state houses in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, and Texas, fair district maps that actually represent the electorate will be drawn after the 2020 census, and we'll see more progressive wins for the next 10 years. In fact, we estimate flipping 12 more congressional seats in 2022 with these fairer maps. So as we talk through the basics of what we need to win the White House, the Senate, and state houses, you may have noticed that many of the important battles are concentrated in the same few states, what Swing Left is calling the super states. Winning the super states is how we'll win the country. Think about it. If you help register a voter in North Carolina, that voter can help us win a key presidential swing state race, a key Senate seat, and state house and Senate races necessary to roll back North Carolina's awful gerrymander, all with a single vote. That's what our super state strategy is all about, maximizing the impact of your time and money. This is the key to both beating Trump and locking in long-term Democratic progress. Now, you're probably wondering how you can help and where to get started. Well, first, registering voters will be one of the most important things we can do to win the super states. This is different from the 2018 midterms. Here's why. In the midterms, we focused on turning out voters on Election Day because only a little more than half of registered voters typically vote in the midterms. More turnout meant winning elections. But in presidential election years, turnout isn't the biggest obstacle, since we can expect close to 90% of registered voters to vote. That's why we're going to focus on registering new voters, and we'll do it in the super states where the votes will have the biggest impact. And starting now, you can register voters from anywhere because we're piloting a method of voter registration by mail. We'll write personal letters, lots and lots of letters, to potential new voters, which is one of the most effective ways to get someone to register to vote. With this method, you can make an impact in places like North Carolina, even if you live all the way in California. Secondly, at Swing Left, we know how early money can make a difference in winning elections. And it's another action you can take right now from anywhere. We focus on raising money early because candidates often come out of the primaries cash poor and need immediate funds to start hiring staff and buying ads to beat their Republican opponent. It's how we made sure our nominees in 2018 started the general election strong. That's why we're going to start raising money for our super state nominees now, so we can deliver them a big blue check early on at the moment of absolute highest impact. So let's recap. In 2020, we're going to take back all the houses. the White House, the Senate, and the State Houses, key for redistricting. We're also going to defend the Democratic majority in the House and work to expand it in key swing districts. And no matter where you live, you can start now by registering voters, in person or by mail, and raising money for candidates in the super states. Are you ready for 2020 to be the year we take back our government and set up a decade of progressive victories? We can't afford to wait. Now, let's get to work.